I discovered the Sunny Pines HOA was building 96 luxury homes on my inherited farmland. But when I found my grandfather's original property surveys, their entire development suddenly became my legal property. Would you believe their shocked faces when I revealed my trap at their own community meeting? I never thought I'd have to fight for land that already belonged to me. When Grandpa Joe died last March, I inherited his 200-acre farm outside Meadow Creek. It had been in our family for generations, though I lived far away in the city and rarely visited. One morning, I got a call from Grandpa's neighbor, warning that bulldozers were tearing into the eastern fields. 5 hours later, I pulled up to the farm and saw it myself. Heavy machinery was cutting deep scars into the soil where Grandpa once grew corn and soybeans. A large sign announced Sunny Pines East, 96 luxury homes, starting at $450,000. The HOA president, Diane Reynolds, stood at the site in her spotless clothes, clipboard in hand, confident that this land belonged to her development. She claimed the parcel had been purchased last year, but I knew Grandpa would never have sold it. Something was wrong. Back at the farmhouse, I searched for Grandpa's old office. Hidden under a floorboard, I found a locked metal box. Inside was his will naming me heir, the original deed, and surveys dating back to 1910. Even more, there was a letter from Grandpa himself, warning me that developers had tried for years to pressure him into signing away land. He insisted he never did and urged me to compare the old survey with the county's records. When I did, the truth was shocking. The original survey showed the farm was nearly 280 acres, not the 200 acres listed today. Decades ago, the eastern boundary had been quietly shifted. That meant not only the construction site, but part of Sunny Pines itself, including their clubhouse and 20 existing homes, stood on what was legally ours. I took the documents to Walter Franklin, a local property lawyer. He confirmed it. Someone had falsified records in the 1990s, using a forged signature while Grandpa was in the hospital. That was outright fraud. We filed an injunction to halt construction. Digging deeper, I found that Sunny Pines wasn't just a neighborhood. It was a web of shell companies tied to Diane, her husband, and even local officials. They had financed their $16 million expansion using my land as collateral. Worse, they'd been bullying longtime locals for years, harassing elderly homeowners with endless fines until they sold cheap. Grandpa had resisted, but they thought with him gone, the farm was theirs for the taking. The injunction gave me a temporary win, but Diane didn't back down. She blocked my driveway with security vehicles, cut my utilities, and weaponized her connections. County inspectors showed up, piling on code violations. HOA enforcers even fined me for illegal parking on my own land. It was clear she meant to make life unbearable until I surrendered. But Diane underestimated two things: my grandfather's foresight and the community's resentment. As I met with neighbors, I uncovered story after story of abuse. Families fined for mailboxes, gardens, porch swings, every detail of life controlled for Diane's profit. Quietly, I began forming alliances. One night, the HOA treasurer, Gerald, showed up at my farmhouse. He was nervous, but handed me a flash drive. It contained years of HOA financial records, showing hundreds of thousands of dollars siphoned into companies owned by Diane's family. Fraud on top of fraud. With evidence in hand and neighbors ready to rebel, I called a community meeting at the Sunny Pines Center. Nearly 100 residents showed up. I revealed the original surveys and the truth. Much of Sunny Pines was illegally built on my family's land. Panic swept the room. For the first time, Diane lost her composure. But this wasn't just about boundaries anymore. I offered a solution. We could form a new community association with fair rules, transparent finances, and property protections. To my surprise, the majority sided with me. Families who had once feared Diane now cheered at the chance to break free. As pressure mounted, local officials could no longer cover for her. County records confirmed the fraud. Reporters exposed the financial misconduct. And finally, police escorted Diane away on charges of embezzlement and falsifying property records. The fight wasn't over immediately. It took months of legal battles, surveys, and negotiations to set things right. But slowly, order returned. Homeowners received valid deeds. Those who had invested in the new development were given fair exchanges. The wetlands Grandpa loved were preserved under federal protection. A year later, the farmhouse became a community center. Gardens flourished where fines once destroyed them. Families painted their doors any color they liked. Kids rode bikes freely down streets, no longer patrolled by Diane's clipboard. Grandpa had always told me the land wasn't just dirt, it was legacy. By fighting back, I not only protected it, but also gave the entire town a second chance. Diane tried to steal my inheritance. Instead, she gave me something greater, a united community and the pride of knowing I carried out my grandfather's last trap, exactly as he planned.